So, standing at the threshold of the Golden Owl, Doddle, Hawke, and Maglo, you enter into this warm, inviting, home-like common room. And there are brilliant hearths that are burning and a warm glow across the whole place. And seated in the back end of the bar is a figure that you recognize. Siraye, describe yourself.
I'm like in the corner, like back to the wall, kind of observing the bar. There's no food or drink on her table. She's not doing that. And she's just waiting patiently with a stern look on her face.
Can I wave at her? I don't stop waving till she reacts.
You are definitely waving. Everyone in the bar is looking at you. Some people kind of hesitantly wave back.
I look at them and I go like, no, not behind. And then I just keep waving.
Yeah, this older halfling man kind of looks sad and walks on.
No, wait, can I run up to him and be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
He has a big bushy mustache. No, it's all right. No one likes me. And he just keeps walking sullenly.
No, come here.
All right?
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I'm used to
No,
it.
what's your name?
Gerald.
Oh, Gerald, what a lovely name.
Yeah.
What kind of night are you having so far? And she just continues to talk to
been
this
really
random
slow.
man.
No one really likes me, so I don't have anyone to spend time with right now.
I'll spend time with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
MacLeod
Okay.
goes up to the bar and is like, "Hi, have you got like a vegetarian meal?"
Yeah, so you step up and you ask for a meal. The middle-aged woman who I described earlier is standing there, and she takes the rag that she's working with, and it looks very clean, sets it aside, sets the tankard down, leans on the bar, and looks you, Hawke, and Doddle over. Well met. Welcome to the Golden Owl. My name is Tamara Walchrist. It's a pleasure to meet you. And this is my establishment. I understand the three of you meet the requirements and the descriptions of a certain shared friend of ours. You'll be taking the back room tonight.
Why?
You are friends with Fiddlescratch, are you not?
No. He approached
I'm mistaken
us.
then, I'm sorry.
He approached
vegetarian
us,
stew?
but
Will
we're
that-
not friends.
Understandable, yes. No. Who would be friends with such a scoundrel? And she turns and starts working across the back of the bar. She motions, and a large, ponderous turtle walks up to you and has a large kind of turtle head. This is a turtle person, right? And they have an enormous shell, and they're wearing an apron and leather garb that's kind of strapped across them. Looks like they might be 1,000 years old. And works their way closer to you. You have never seen such an old-looking turtle creature before. Big eyes that kind of look at you slowly. They seem kind of milked over, but you can see that they're perfectly able to see you. Kind of chews on a bit of old piece of stick out of the side of one mouth.
Hello there. What
Right?
would you like today, my friend?
You're not from around here, are you?
No, I've lived in Waterdeep for quite a many years. Cycles have come and gone on the time that I have walked through these streets.
Do you want to get a drink?
I'm one of the tavern keepers here.
All right, that's
What
fine.
Can
I get a drink and I can ask you a couple questions?
For you today, young man.
I love him so much. I'm going to cry.
You see that little one over there? They want a vegetarian dish of some sort. Whatever you got.
That little one over there, you say?
And he very slowly lifts up a large kind of ponderous hand and very slowly points over to Doddle. And then looks back to you. It takes like a minute.
Oi. Yeah.
And you would like a vegetarian stew?
Yes, that'll be fine. If we could get 2 of those, take it to Maglo attempts to lock eyes with Siraye. That table?
You are welcome here, and I will put in your order. Lickety-split.
He stands there.
I would like to talk to you about clearly everything that you've done. I want to hear it. Have you got journals or a diary maybe that I could read?
Young man, slow down. You're going to hurt yourself. I happen to be one of the greatest bards in all of the land. I will tell you whatever stories you like in due time.
All right, fine. Get us our stuff. I'm going to be over there and prep a song. Do you know? And then there's a place. It was around ages ago, and there's it was around the Netheries time. It's a place called Teowin. They kind of built themselves on just a lot of technology, which is kind of just fallen off the face of the earth.
A very large metal tankard slams down in front of you, and it is held by Tamara Woolcrest, and she has inserted herself between you and the turtle and looks at you, eyes squinting. I believe you ordered this drink, and I would do you a kindness by reminding you that while my establishment is one of the safest places in the Southern Ward, there are certain things that do not need to be spoken of in open common rooms. If you'd like to make your way to the back room when you're ready, many of your answers can be found there. However, the Golden Owl will not be protecting you if your mouth gets you into too much trouble. She walks away.
So do you think that you have a problem connecting with people because of a potential traumatic event that happened in your
Doddle.
childhood? What? Sorry, Maglo?
We're going into the back room.
We'll come back to Doddle in just a second. Hawke, what are you doing in this moment?
Yeah, so when we were going in, Hawke was going to pull Doddle aside to talk to her, and he immediately just gets blasted by... He hasn't seen so many people in one room for what feels like ages, and he kind of just starts 1,000-yard staring. He's like, all right, Doddle, we have to... Listen, Doddle. I'm gonna talk to him real quick, but I'm not sure if Maglo's completely above board. If you get what I mean. Listen, I think that he's interested in you.
Oh, that's very sweet to say.
I think he's out to get something here. I don't appreciate him not being forthright about everything. So I'm gonna talk to him.
Okay.
But just you do you. You're a grown goblin, I think. So you make the best decision. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Well, he was calling me into the back room, so how about this? I'll give you guys like a 10-minute head start. You can have a little heart-to-heart.
Perfect. Cool. Excellent. Hawke just kind of like straightens up, tries his best to not touch anybody, tries to make his way to the back, and follows Maglo into the room.
You follow Maglo back, and Maglo, when you start walking towards this doorway, it's off to the side of the bar, and there is another large wooden carved door, only it's a single door this time. And there's the same sort of tree with an owl carved upon it, and there is an old suit of armor on one side of it, a series of shields that match the shield that was on the statue outside, hanging on the opposite wall. And as you approach the door, you push on it and nothing happens. And then there's a little gleam and the door unlocks with no one in front of it.
I'll follow in behind. And
So-
I close the door.
Yeah, right behind you, Hawke is right there. And so we'll come back here to Doddle and Siraye. Did you watch the two go into the room, or do you do anything?
Yeah, I rolled I wasn't sure which one it would be, so I rolled both insight and perception to like see if I knew what was going on and if I should start heading into where I should be heading to meet Fiddlescratch.
You had already been told by Tamara, who was the tavern keep,
Okay.
to wait for the rest of your companions to arrive, and you argued about that turn, but the rest of your group to arrive,
Okay.
and that then the back door would be open to you, and you could enter into the library, and you would meet Fiddlescratch there. But meanwhile, just to relax, she offered you drinks. You didn't want one. You sat in the corner. Doddle, what are you doing in this moment?
So anyway, I think you just need to have a little bit more confidence, and I think anybody would be incredibly honored to be your friend, and I think that you would bring a real light to people's lives if you gave them the opportunity.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't know what to say. I really do have a lot to think about. So I'll do that here. The halfling kind of scratches his mustache. Doddle, may the gods bless and keep you. You've been a light in these dark days. Thank you.
Aw, that's very sweet of you to say. Thank you very much. I have to go meet some friends now, but it was a pleasure speaking to you.
Oh.
And I hope that anyone in this tavern gets the same opportunity that I have.
Well, yes, I hope so too. And you wander off with your new friend at the fire, kind of thinking about his life and how he can improve and be a little more socially extroverted. And you walk to the back room just as Siraye is walking along, and the two of you kind of meet eyes.
Let's go smile at her.
The chicken is
Siraye doesn't
following.
smile back. She just kind of looks.
Yeah, there's a chicken toddling after Doddle, following after.
Harold, shh, keep it down. I'm not actually sure if you're allowed to be in here, but no one's called us out on it yet, so.
So yeah, you the three of you walk through the back door. Maglo, you and Hawke entered first, and what you see is an elaborate library that's in the back of this tavern, and there are 3 stories of shelves that reach up into the top points of this building, and it's a circular room, and there are walkways and spiral staircases all throughout it. And in the center is a long stone tower that has a 3-sided hearth inside of it. And there are fires burning all around. And there are lush couches and tables and small study corners that are scattered throughout this entire library. The immensity of the knowledge held within the back room of this tavern cannot be understated. And Maglo, as someone who has spent a great deal of time studying abroad and pushing through dusty tomes in some of the greatest libraries in many of the lands of Faerun, you find this to be very impressive. It's not on the scale of an actual library, but it is immense for a private collection. There are stained glass windows that are bringing some light in. You can kind of see the flicker of the lamps outside through those stained glass windows. And Hawke and Maglo, as you enter, I'd like for you to make insight checks. Hawke, you are oblivious to much of what's happening around you. You rolled a natural 1 on your perception.
I'm gonna double check that one.
Oh, and you got a natural 1 on your insight too.
Oh, jeez.
So your perception was a natural 1 too. Luckily, those don't stack that way, and that's a natural 1 for Siraye. Okay, so thankfully, walking into the back room of a tavern hasn't triggered some sort of cataclysmic failure. But Maglo, you do notice a series of painted portraits across one wall that has a group of adventurers together. And there is a woman that is clearly the barkeep, Tamara, younger, standing alongside another woman who looks similar to her, a very broad, powerfully built dwarf in armor, a woman with a very small beard that has been braided, but it matches the buns in her hair, and a large one-horned minotaur. One horn looks like it's been completely broken off, with a reddish pelt and really bright, fiery red eyes. Massive creature. And there is a hooded figure who you cannot see the face of with a twisted staff, and it has an orb inside of it that glows with a green light. And it looks as if this old black wood had wrapped itself around this staff. And the face is unseen. But in the middle of all of this is a small figure that looks identical to the halfling that you met in the alleyway. No younger, no older, but identical. And he's wearing the patchwork cloak and has a really bright smile and is sort of doing a tada pose in the middle of all of these adventurers.
I like to think Hawke doesn't notice anything because the first thing he does is he goes up to one of the shelves, grabs a random book, and just kind of like sniffs the spine because he likes the smell of old books.
Yeah, you're sitting there smelling a book, and Siraye, you walk in and you see Hawke holding a book and just smelling it.
He just like takes it up and goes.
Both of you, Doddle and Siraye, notice this painting as you walk in.
I was gonna give Hawke and Maglo a second to chat.
And then choose the most awkward moment to walk in.
I approve of this message. Okay, Hawke, Maglo, you are together.
I put the book on the shelf. I make sure the door is closed. All right, listen. I'm not unaware of what's going on here. Okay, I see what's happening. You probably see I'm definitely, I'm a religious person, and you don't like that. And
kind of lost in thought, looking at this party, and then like halfway through this like speech, his face is like quite calm and like just looking at this nice gang, and then his face just gets angry. He's like, right, okay, I'm not gonna need this. We're not fucking friends.
Yeah,
We're not gonna be friends.
No.
So you can stop with your bullshit.
I don't care about
I don't
being
give a fuck.
friends with you.
No.
Shush.
Good.
You're being very nice to the goblin. You're buying her food and drinks and stuff, and I get it, but listen, buddy, just because I'm religious doesn't mean I'm gonna judge, okay? People find it where they find it. I've seen a minotaur and a gnome together. I don't get how it works, but you know what? They found happiness. I'm sure you guys could too. Just know I'm not going to judge it, okay, buddy? All right, there. I've said my piece.
All in favor of passing away.
I picture the bridge of his nose to the point where it's almost bleeding, and then just like...
All right, listen, I've had crusty old religious people... Okay.
No.
Right.
Shut up.
Okay. I think at this point, I'm gonna just walk in and just be like...
And yeah, both Siraye and Doddle are standing there.
Whoa! Mr. Fiddlescratch!
Yeah, you don't see Fiddlescratch or his brightly colored cloak anywhere in the room. But there are a number of very studious-looking patrons that are scattered about, and they're reading in corners. Everybody can make an insight check if you like.
Himbo energy activate. It's every time I say that I get above a 10 at least.
Yeah, 14.
Okay, so Doddle, you notice...
16.
Yeah, Doddle, you notice that there are a lot of people in here. They're being very respectful of your space, but they're clearly not just reading. They're keeping an eye on you, all of you. And Siraye, you know that the people reading are not just scholars. They have little pouches and little bags. You see a wand and a sheath on the side of one of them. They're clearly spellcasters. And you have a feeling that they're here in the back room right now to make sure that no one takes anything or does anything that they shouldn't do. You don't feel like they're threatening, but they are covertly guarding the place and perhaps keeping you here.
I am uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable.
Is Doddle actually singing that, or is that just inside Doddle's head?
Doddle or
In her head, on a loop.
To that point, actually. So, Maglo's going to look through the library, just trying to spot if there's anything of note or if these people are trying to scalp him for his information. Because clearly they're adventurers, and they probably want something from him.
I'm going to call that an insight, so go ahead and roll it again. As you're doing more of a focused kind of study of the people around you.
Piss. Let's call that an 11. Higher than a 10.
Yeah, you're actually very impressed by the collection. I mean, there's no falsehood in that. They have a lot of knowledge. And obviously these are people who are very concerned about knowledge. And if they didn't have this library, maybe they wouldn't be interested in what you have. But you don't think that they're necessarily targeting you. Or maybe they're trying to protect you. You really don't know what to think.
It might just be that he's like, I've gotten insanely fucking lucky.
Yeah.
Somehow I've either gotten super lucky or super fucking unlucky. And I'm still trying to source out which one I am.
Busby climbs across your shoulder and is kind of digging around, and you see a little light that starts to track on a certain area of books.
What books are they?
Do you go over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you walk away from the group and start looking at books over in the far corner. What do the other three do while you're standing here?
I'm not gonna sit down or like inspect the room, but I'm gonna find like a spot where like my back's to the wall. I can clearly see the whole room, so nothing can like jump out and surprise me.
Yeah.
And just like not be ready to attack, but just be aware of what's going on in the room.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for Siraye. You do find a space. You can check stealth, I guess.
It's not that I don't want people to not see me.
Okay. If you're not trying to hide,
just that I just want to make sure like I'm in a relatively safe, aware of my surroundings area.
Granted. Okay, so you find a good place in the corner and you seat yourself. Does anyone go with Siraye?
I'm just meandering, trying to keep up an optimistic attitude.
And Hawke, what are you doing? Well, Doddle just kind of like stands in the center of the room and kind of shuffles in a circle.
Hawke's normally pale face is beet red now, and he is just gonna be in the corner. He grabs a book, literally any book, like the nearest one, and he's gonna like try and read it to like not be on this plane of existence as a plane.
Is it upside down?
He appreciates astral projecting, I guess. And he's
I got you, ass.
Yeah.
So you do grab it. It's a language you don't understand, and you're sitting there flipping through the book. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah. I know.
Yeah, it's definitely a language you've never seen before. But the door opens, and the large, slow figure of the turtle barkeep comes in with a tray.
For flavor, the book's also upside down.
Hello there, little friend.
Oh, yeah, good. Thanks for asking. I mean, wait, hi. You too.
The large, like slowly, painfully walking across the room to a table in front of the fire that has a lot of seats around it, and they're all centered around. And you notice that there are 8 places at the table as he sets down the tray and starts putting out stew bowls and big stone tankards full of wine and water and cups, and starts kind of like slowly setting out silverware neatly with cloth napkins.
I suppose that all of you are quite hungry from the road. Please, come and enjoy a hot meal.
Go up to the table and start helping him set, and you can see that Doddle knows exactly where to put the little forks as opposed to the big forks, and make sure that the knife is curved towards the plate.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
You do better than the turtle does, but it is immaculate. Oh, you do though. It's immaculate. It's fine. He's not embarrassed. You immaculately set this table. The turtle just slowly pats you on the head and smiles. He doesn't have any teeth, it doesn't look like. So he smiles, and it's just this big, giant mass of gums as he kind of nods and his big eyes kind of bob up and down.
You're going to do just fine in water deep.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Oh, thank you.
And so he turns and just kind of looks over to everyone else, and then he takes the book slowly as he walks out that's in Hawke's hands and turns it around.
I like the extra challenge.
And then just keeps walking.
Can I sit down at the table and very politely eat the stew back straight using a spoon, but as soon as I take that first sip, still remain very polite, but just eat very quickly?
Yeah, so you start eating very quickly.
All table manners are to the side. He is shoveling this down his mouth.
Maglo, you're looking at a series of massive tomes on elven history.
So, they know, then. Right, Buzz? They know. I don't know whether to think that we're fucked or we're great. Right. First things first. How do they know about us? How do we know about our book and our research? What the fuck does the goblin know? Why do they know this stuff? Why are they so fucking weird? You ever seen a fucking vegetarian goblin? You ever seen a goblin that is a wizard? A powerful wizard at that? I know. That's what I'm digging. Right. There's a lot of questions coming up, and I kind of want to answer some of them before more questions come. Do you know what, Buzz? I'm fucking loving after this amount of time. There's some new fucking questions that we get to ask.
Busby kind of like jumps and like hops back up onto your shoulder, climbs into your pack, and you turn and you smell the smell of stew. And you can see a large pot has been set down, and Doddle is very, very elegantly, though hastily, eating stew in a way that for a goblin, it doesn't seem right. There's something just broken about the image that you can't really... Your mind understands what you're watching, and you understand that you should not think this. Goblins should be able to be whatever they want to be, but you've just never seen this before. And there's a polite sophistication to the way that this goblin is handling this dinner table that is shocking.
What has Doddle got on a plate? Is it just the stew?
I'll leave that to Doddle.
Yeah, just took the stew. What else is on the table? She would start with the stew or an appetizer.
There's bread, and there is like skewers of cooked meat, but there's also bowls of vegetables that are alongside the stew. There's a lot of corn, like corn on the cob, that has been heavily greased with what looks like some sort of cream.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually take the bread to fill my empty stomach a little bit. And as I eat, just say, "Wow, there's so much flavor."
Yeah, the coarseness of the bread is so shocking to you that it's hard for you to chew, but you you get your mouth around it, and kind of the goblin nature of your body takes over, and you find yourself eating faster than you
I
would
got
like.
pointy teeth now, it helps.
Yeah, and you've got like a stomach that could eat lead. You could probably digest metal if you had to. Hawke, Siraye, and Maglo, do you sit and eat?
Hawke does not stop filling his mouth with food.
Okay, so Hawke is just going to town. Siraye?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try and sit at like the head of that table.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna eat, and my Suraye's face is probably gonna be very disgusted because these people are stuffing their faces.
I am very uncomfortable with the energy we have created in the studio today.
Are you gonna eat that? Can I have it?
Yeah, Hawke is eating as if he hasn't eaten in years. And it is good, Hawke. Those meat pies were disgusting, but you still ate them because it was warm, and that was kind of amazing in its own way. This is far and away probably the best meal you've ever had.
I'm just in my mouth, I'm like, each bite is better than the previous bite. I'm just almost it's like that Studio Ghibli moment where he's eating so hard, he's on the verge of tears. He doesn't, but he's close.
Right. So there is a hum from the tavern on the other side of the door. You can hear it very clearly, and you're eating stew. Some of you are standing in varied places throughout the interior sanctum, the library of the Golden Owl. And the fire is burning brightly. The other individuals in the room pay very little attention to you openly. Siraye, you and some of the others who are sharper of eye notice that you're being watched very carefully. And so you have a number of these people around you in the background, and they are casually paying attention to everything that you are all doing. Maglo, you walk back from the shelf that you were looking at, and you see the food laid out before you. What do you do?
Not quite knowing his level of safety, he's not going to eat. Looking around.
So, yeah, you're looking about, and it's fairly quiet in this room, as you would expect the library to be. Doddle, you're still eating. Hawke, you haven't stopped breathing to eat, or you haven't stopped to breathe while you're eating. And Siraye, what are you doing in the corner?
Oh no, I've come up to the table. I already.
Are you eating?
Talked about this. No, I'm not eating, but I'm looking at everyone else, kind of disgusted as they inhale their food.
Okay.
Monsters.
Hey now, I'm very polite. I'm just also been in the woods for a few weeks or months or something.
Yeah. Actually, I want you to make a history check, please, Siraye.
I ain't good at history. It's a 6.
Yeah, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary, except that the goblin is very polite about the way that she is eating. And so you're all sitting there, and there's the warm crackle of the fire in the hearth, and you're very comfortably seated, and you sit there for some time. Juniper, you are wandering through the rain-soaked streets of the dock ward of Waterdeep, and you are overwhelmed by the twists and the turns of the alleyways. You hear and see a kind of a mass of people and horses, and above you in the sky, you hear a shriek. And as you look up, you see griffins that are saddled with City Watch guard mounted upon them in full armor, with lances and shields, as they circle about in various places of the city and then fly off towards the mountain in the far distance.
June's gonna look around and see. She's gonna walk around and I'm probably have to make a stealth roll, but try to be stealthy and see where the most amount of guards are hanging out, like which shipping place has the most amount of like security.
Yeah, so I'm going to have you make a sleight of hand roll, which is strange, but it will serve for your indication of the way that the underworld works in this general area. A 15. So you're checking out these different various buildings, and you notice that a lot of them have outward show of force of individuals who are guarding, and usually it's one or two well-muscled thugs that are sitting out in front of it. Every dock has somebody keeping a sharp eye on the comings and goings of the crowd, and there are a lot of warehouses that are guarded in various ways. As you go a little deeper, you do notice that there are dark alleys that patrols of gang members are walking in and out of, and they seem much more active than the outward warehouses that you've witnessed in the past. You come to realize that this search is very much like finding a needle in a haystack. There are so many places that your shield could be, and you are wandering through the streets covered in muck, drenched from the rain, and utterly lost. Individuals notice you as you walk past, and some of them are giving you gazes that make you feel as if you might be dangling on the end of a hook, as if you might be in danger. What would you like to do, Jim?
She's realizing she probably needs to go take a dip in some water, clean herself off. So she's going to look around for an exit out of this part, or like an inn.
So thankfully, the rain has been very helpful to you, and it has washed off a great amount of the sewer sludge. But you have your white garb is stained, and it will take a number of washes to get it back to its former radiance. So you're pushing your way through, and all of the taverns and inns and other areas here all seem rather run down. You notice that there is a back alley by a building, and it looks like a very run-down inn of some sort. It doesn't seem to have a tavern attached to it. It seems to be just a place with rooms that sailors would use as a flop house. And there is a side alleyway, and that alleyway, you notice a couple of large muscled figures with strange tattoos and shaved heads pulling what looks like a body into the alleyway and arguing amongst each other.
Oh no. It looks like a body.
It does.
Sometimes I hate June. June is gonna go in the alley. And actually she stomps into the alley. She goes, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, so you stomp into the alley and you say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Make an intimidation check. Not great.
It's not a natural one.
Not a natural one, but it is one. You're covered in muck, and you just kind of caught them off guard. It seems like they're on edge. So they have this body with them, and they stop and they look at you. And there are they have tattoos and shaved heads and piercings all over their body. And one of them is a woman, the other is a man, and they seem to be related. They seem to have some sort of relation between them because they look very similar in the facial area, like features, and their eyes are the same kind of shade of this weird gray kind of violet color. And they look at you and their eyes kind of narrow, and you can see that they have with them another woman who is bleeding badly, and she is wearing brown and black leather and has the garb and the tools of what looks like some sort of thief. And they look to you and they immediately glare. "I do not know what kind of business it is of yours."
I just see you dragging someone who's possibly unconscious and
If
not
you
exactly
want your
good.
throat slit, why don't you stay around?
Is that a threat? Did you just threaten me?
I do not threaten anyone. I only state facts. You may count that as a promise.
June folds her arms and stands there and goes, "What's with the body?"
So you are some sort of hero?
I wouldn't call myself a hero. I'm just, if they did something bad, then I'm not gonna fight you on it, but I just want to know. Why?
Do you have any of your holy symbols or signs of the Emerald Enclave or anything present or showing?
No.
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. Look, you don't want trouble with us. We're very dangerous people.
Clearly.
This one is none of your concern.
In my mind, everyone in the world is a part of nature, and so therefore we're all each other's business. And either you're doing something suspicious, or that person deserved it. And I'm just asking, did they deserve it?
Are you mad? Are you some sort of zealot? Are you preaching to us right now? Here in the dock ward where people barely survive the night, are you telling us to pray?
I wouldn't tell you to pray, but I do.
Are you a cleric? Do you follow the faith?
I do.
Roll initiative.
9.
Okay, so the woman doesn't move, but the man very quickly crosses the distance and tries to grab you. Do you resist?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a grappling check. I just need to make either acrobatics or athletics, your choice. Yeah, you leap out of the way as he snatches forward, and it looks like he was trying to pull you into the alleyway. So you could turn. It's now your turn. You could turn and run away. You could approach the figure and do something. You could try to move further back away from him. Whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna jump back a couple feet, and I'm not gonna attack him at him, but I'm gonna crack my whip at his feet.
Okay, so yeah, just roll to strike the ground next time.
Let's strike the ground.
And then you can make an intimidation check as well, because I assume that you're just trying to...
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit the ground. It's not very close to him, but go ahead and make your intimidation check.
That's okay. Just know that I'm here to do something. 12.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you do so, and he does take a couple steps back and kind of raises his hands, and you see that he doesn't have any weapons in his hands. All right, fine. Steps back, and then the woman acts, sensing what this man is doing, leaving the other body on the ground, leaps up and tries to grab you. Go ahead and make an athletics or an acrobatics check.
10.
So yeah, as the man threw his hands up, he was distracting you and making a big show of it, because it seems like this person that he works with, they have a very skilled rapport with one another as far as how they do these things. So the hands go up, and you're watching, and sleight of hand, like a good stage show magician, you sense the other person run up behind you, and you feel a blade on your throat. Do not move. Who do you serve? Who is your god?
This is a lot for asking who my god is.
Answer the question, or your blood now fills the space.
Hey, listen, if you're this determined, I don't think it really matters, but I serve Sylvanas.
There's a long moment. The blade is pricking into your neck, and you feel a little trickle of blood run down it. Can you help us?
Excuse me?
Elerie, you are in your room, and morning has come, and you have had a miserable night without really any tips and very few drinks. And certainly the entire atmosphere of this tavern has been fairly ruined at this point by what Teetlebomb Mooseneck did. You know that rumors are running rampant, and you're not sure what he told people. You still don't know, but you just know that everyone is acting strange around you. You wake up as the light comes through, and you remember what he said about showing back up at the warehouse. Do you skip that? Do you go to the warehouse? What do you do?
No, I already put in my 2 weeks notice, so I'm just gonna not show up.
So what do you do with your time? as you greet the new morning?
Oh, I think I'll, since my morning's cleared up, I think I'll just head on downstairs, and see if there's anything I could get my hands into today, because you know what? This is worthy of celebrating. I don't have anything to do, so
Okay.
I'm gonna try and find something.
You go downstairs, and there is the makeshift altar to Tamora that has been set up here, and there is the same lazy priest who's got his sandaled feet kind of kicked up and a tin cup next to him. Blessings of Tamora upon you, my child.
Hey, old man. I'd like to take a coin out of my pocket and like fling it into the thing.
Tamora's blessing will be upon you, most certainly. Luck will show its way to your doorstep. Thank you, my child. Ah, yes. Seems that you might need it today.
I might need it? What is that supposed to mean?
What kind of coin did you put in the cup?
The littlest amount that I could, like the copper, and then now just hearing that response, I'll put another one in, just like just looking at him with a very tired look.
The faith of Tamora is growing stronger, and luck is building in your corner, but my child, it is not yet here. There is a weakness. Can you feel it? Pray with me now. Tamora's blessing is so close, and yet this cup is so empty. If it were just more filled, I feel that her blessings would be upon you. Do you feel it, my child?
Yeah, I feel it. But come on, old man, make it worth my while. And I toss him another coin.
Ah, blessings! It's a bright day. Tamora has granted us all great favor, and I understand that you've been working with the city. Is this true, my child?
I haven't done anything for the city other than take their money.
Ah, good. There are individuals about with less reputable associations than myself who feel that you're dangerous, worried that you might turn them over to the authorities. No one wishes to find the Lords of Waterdeep swinging them from a gallows, you understand?
Yeah, and we've all been going at this hustle for a while, knowing, the man was really going to start coming down on us, so it's probably better that one of us is on the inside if this street's going to stay anywhere safe under their thumb.
Well, if this is true, my child, then you have nothing to fear, but I would be worried about the bad reputation that is being created. Of course, Tamora can solve all harms, and with the appropriate funding, I believe that we could find a way to put you in good standing with the entire area here in the Dark Ward.
What are you proposing?
Well, if you wish to be well respected and trusted, I would say that while great work, certainly is something that Tamora could lay upon the altar of need for the right price.
Something tells me that they're going to be coming for your lot real soon. Perhaps you can take off the fatherly facade here, and we can talk, about what's really going on.
I don't know what you're speaking of, my child. The faith is strong within me, but I will say this. If you want my aid, you must make it right with the mother. And he clicks at the cup again.
I didn't really know my mother, so we'll see how this one did for me. I'll give him another coin.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You're a slot machine and I'm not winning here. I just know that your associate, Teetlebom Moosnick, has been spreading rumors. And that those rumors say that you're working with the city. Nothing more, but not to trust you and not to give you any information. It seems as though your friend is trying to ruin whatever this undertaking is that you have chosen to do.
No, I understand. We had quite a fight last night with after a few ales, so I'm sure he got some of the details mixed up. But listen, man, I gotta be on my way.
And he picks up the cup and stands up and kind of shuffles off. And there's like some kids that were out in the street. He rings a bell, and there were kids out in the street begging, and they kind of like all rush in and they walk out as a group. Make a sleight of hand roll real quick.
I like the sleight of hand.
Yeah. So one of the kids kind of bumps into you and tries to lift your coin purse, but your hand flies down and grabs it before the kid can get a hand on it.
I would just like kind of lift the kid up by the hand and look at them in the eye.
teeth. I didn't do it. Please don't.
What did I tell you about this?
Whoa. Egbert, no. Did this young rapscallion, he grabs him by the ear, did this young rapscallion try to lift your coin purse?
No, we were playing a game. We're playing a game. Yeah, just next time, remember, it's all in the fingers.
Yes, well, okay. Then, Edgar, move along. And he kind of motions for the kid to leave, looks back to you. Tamora's blessing upon you, my child. And just kind of walks off, smirking. You don't think that this is really a priest. Leaving into the streets of the dock ward, it's still raining this morning, and people are moving about, and you start walking down the street. Are you headed anywhere in particular?
This might sound like completely out there, but could I go to like the last place I recall the siren's call being?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'd like to go there, please.
So you start making your way through the docks, and you move to a row of buildings known as Anchor's Rest. And there is a long, dark, untrafficked dock that leads out towards the sea. And you can see the sea's a little rough right now. And there are a few ships that are harbored around, but there's like very notably a number of docks here that are not being used. And the whole area seems to be shut down. And you notice that there are less of the regular rapscallions moving about in the streets, and there are more guard. There are more of the city watch that are moving about in small groups, and they seem to be not patrolling, but moving in and out of the space. And you walk past an alleyway, and you see a large number of these griffin riders that are congregated in one area, and you hear the shrieking of the mounts as they're moving about. And, it's quite a sight to see all of them together, but they seem to be conversing with a number of individuals, looks like other inquisitors, none quite as outstanding and noticeable as your friend Sternward, but definitely inquisitors nonetheless. And it seems like there's an active investigation in this general area. Do you want to go too deep into this, or do you want to maybe...
No, I'm gonna blow this off. I don't want to be in too hot water.
Okay. So you turn and you quickly kind of walk away, and you hear in the distance, "Halt, right there."
What is it? I'm late for work.
And you turn around and you see a large, well-muscled man who is has a marking of one of the captains of the city watch. Has a shaved scalp and a really long gray mustache. Very heavily muscled, tall, rough and callous looking, and has his hand on his sword hilt and is walking towards you with two other city guards behind him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've lost, I'm trying to find the right dock.
State your name and your business, please.
Elerie Seaborn. I was told to come up to the dock and move some boxes around.
And you stand there, and I want you to make a deception check, please.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's not like a horrible roll. It's not like you're just clearly lying, but you're not doing great. So you say this, and the guard just stares at you. Calder, you are currently back in the back room, and the dishes have stacked up, and you are kind of catching your breath. What would you like to do?
Who's in the tavern right now?
So you were called out for listening in. You said that you were going to join your friend in the blue, the mage.
Right.
And you ducked into the back room just for a moment to catch your breath. You peek back out the door, and it's really just the tavern keep and 5 or 6 patrons. It's a fairly slow period of time. And the tavern keep is arguing with a hooded individual and has books out and parchments, and they're scratching stuff on paper. And you've come to know that that means that they are currently dealing with settling bets that were made, because it seems like this tavern keeper is also some sort of bookie and is trying to collect debts and has a number of agents that go out and collect the winnings and the losses, pays out the losses on a certain number of betting pools that you don't really understand.
I think Cal's just going to bring that whiskey over to the mage then.
You do
like
so.
Was asked.
Yeah, and so you quickly pour a cup of whiskey, and the mage looks at you. Please, have a seat, my young friend.
Cal sits down.
We've had a couple of conversations over this past 10 day. You are interesting. It seems that you have taken an interest in my dealings. Have you?
They're certainly a lot more interesting than what usually goes on around here.
Well, it is exactly why I have chosen this place, because there is a security to obscurity. It is much easier to work in the shadows in a place so dark as this tavern. What is it that you're seeking?
Seeking probably a situation where I don't have to spend all day scrubbing pots that never get clean. They only get me dirtier, sir.
And would you say that you are skilled in finding out information that you're not meant to have?
I would say that, although it's usually also not the information that I sought out to find.
All information has value, whether you intended it or not. Someone wants to know. It is almost guaranteed. Have you ever considered taking these commodities and creating a situation that was monetarily beneficial to yourself?
Commodities?
Information.
It might have crossed my mind once or twice.
I had asked you before to keep an eye on the table in the corner. And you had fallen directly into it.
Yeah, kept a little more than an eye on it.
Indeed. At first I was confused. I didn't know how I had been so incorrect in placing so much trust in you. But then I realized the brilliance of what you had done. You intentionally fell into that table so that you could see the face of the individual that was there, cloaked.
Cal kind of smirks a little bit, like, it did work out pretty well, didn't it? It went swimmingly.
You have seen the face of someone, and that information is valuable. I have watched you stumble about, drop drinks, trays, and it has built a perfect veneer of ineptitude. You have built a shield around yourself so that no one believes that you are quietly learning everything around you. I wouldn't have noticed myself if it wasn't for your slightly ill-placed choice of standing behind that pillar there. I could see you. And if I hadn't seen you, you might very well have learned more than I allowed.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment.
You've proven yourself to me. Now I must ask, what would be your price to work outside of this establishment?
I mean, the pile of dirty dishes and then also dirty water to clean them in is as tempting as it is to stick around, I think.
I can only imagine the pittance that the barkeep is paying you here. Let's think bigger.
Hal like looks around at the tavern, and he kind of looks at his own hands for a second, like they're all crusty and dirty. It's like, what if you just teach me what you know?
Really? Interesting. I didn't expect that. I
I
thought
want to
you
know
would
how
have
you
asked.
do what you do. And he like,
No. I understand. You are surprising, is all. I didn't expect you to request something so valuable but yet so often overlooked. I just told you that information was valuable and the currency in which I work, and you immediately cut to the chase and asked me to give you information. You may be the perfect candidate. Have you any inclination towards the magical arts?
not particularly, but I will say it's completely untested. So I'm curious.
He looks about and then leans in a little closer. What do you know of the Watchful Order?
Admittedly, not much. Would Cal know about that?
I mean, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
just enough what Dirty Meg told you. They're mages that watch over Waterdeep, and they're sort of like special forces that go around and stop any sort of magical misdeeds. But they're not above board. There's a lot of mystery around them, but there's also this undercurrent of, I mean, they're magic users. So there's always an undercurrent of ritual and mystery, but it seems as if they're really locking down Waterdeep and becoming the de facto information brokers for the city. And Dirty Meg tasked you with getting this ring because they would be able to tap into some of the arcane tools that they're using to spy on effectively everybody within the city and to try to find out more about them.
Admittedly, not much, but I get the feeling that that is the way that they want it.
Indeed. I can't tell you much, but what I can tell you is that if you work for me, in time, there may be a place for you within the Order. If you wish to elevate yourself from the position of a tavern scrub.
What kind of work would that entail? I'm not super magically inclined. If it requires some of that sort of skill, I might need a little help.
Just because we are mostly of arcane power and usage does not mean that we do not employ brute force and subtlety when needed. I find that there is certainly a space within the lower echelons of our order for those who would help us to enforce that which we do.
All right. Yeah, well, what do you think? Maybe a trial basis apprenticeship?
Exactly what I was thinking. There's a warehouse. I want you to go to it. I'm seeking something of great power. If you're able to bring me back the information that I seek regarding the individuals that are guarding it, then you will have proven yourself quite worthy of my attention. And I can promise you, young man, if you become associated with the Watchful Order, you will want for nothing, and no one will ever disrespect you again.
Hal looks like thoughtful at that, remembering the fancy pirate man that just spat on his boots earlier. Like, interesting. All right.
He takes a book out and rips a piece of parchment out and begins to scratch on it. You do read, yes?
Not often, but I can.
Fair enough. And continues to write and slides it across the table after folding it. And in dark ink, there is a perfect script, by the way. Like, it's very flowy. It takes a minute to actually read the calligraphy because It's almost artistry, you know. It is an address and a description of a warehouse in the dock ward that is apparently trafficking in manticores.
I'll just like blinks for a second. Like, oh. Yes, sir.
Do you know what a manticore is?
Yes, I do.
Good. I am not asking that you do anything but confirm the information that I have and bring me a full description of every guard at that warehouse. There is a small tavern not too far from the dock that you'll be working at. I've included that address there as well. Meet me there tonight. It should give you plenty of time. If I find the information is good, you will never need to return here again. So I wouldn't bother leaving anything behind that you didn't care about.
Understood.
So we have an arrangement. And he reaches his hand out to shake yours.
Hal looks at his hand for a second and goes, that would do. And he shakes the man's hand.
You grasp your hand around his,
Mm-hmm.
and you're touching the blue ring.
I have luck.
Mm-hmm. You do. Would you like to make a sleight of hand roll to try to steal the ring off his hand while you're shaking in agreement for this deal?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try.
All right, so you have luck, and I believe you have 3 uses. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't stack them. Okay, you're really only going to get 1 reroll. You can't just keep using them until they're gone, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You could use it on once, so you're really getting 2 shots at this. But you have played this off amazingly, like as far as the role play goes. He believes that you are, maybe you're genuine about it too, I'm not sure, but Calder doesn't feel like anything other than who he has painted you to be, and he's not expecting this. So since you've laid this groundwork, I'm going to give you an inspiration that you can use on this die roll. I will not give you an advantage because I don't feel that Calder is much of a pickpocket type character. I think that this is really just you're giving this a shot. So your inspiration can be used for this roll if you so choose.
And how does inspiration work briefly?
You're gonna roll, and then you get to add a dice roll on top of that, and then you add the numbers together. So it's gonna be a D8 addition.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. I guess I'll start with the sleight of hand. Oh!
That's a 22 without the other roll.
Damn, good job.
Oh my god.
Do you want to add your D8 and just blow it out of the water? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
I do.
So go ahead and roll a D8 as well.
That is my son.
I've just felt like my butt cheeks unclench. How do I just roll a D8?
Here you go. I just rolled for you. It's a 1.
Thanks. Oh.
That knocks.
I know. It's what happens when I roll. So it's a 1. But you know what? It's still a 23. You blew it out of the water. And so with a 23, the ring slips off. He is none the wiser. I did roll a perception check as well, and it's not great. So he is unaware at the moment.
Cheese it!
Tell me, Calder, with the ring in your possession, what do you do?
Oh, I'm sweating.
Oh, the Council of Elrond!
I think
Mike.
what I kind of want to do is get the ring to Filthy Meg, obviously, but also I kind of want to go and complete this task, and then if there's no alarm sounded or anything like that at some point, Cal might go back to him with the information and just play extremely dumb.
All right. Okay. So you currently are leaving right now, right?
Yeah.
You get your things and you go.
Yeah.
And you hear from the tavern keep, "Hey, boy, there's still plenty of pots to scrub. Where are you going?"
I started feeling sick. It might be contagious. I think I should just go to an apothecary and make sure I'm not gonna get everybody here sick. And he might be sweating at this point. So.
He's just he's trying to process this. It doesn't even mean that he's not fully understanding what you're saying. Who cares if you get everyone sick? Keep the pots clean.
I'll bring back some good alcohol.
We don't serve good alcohol.
For you.
Oh, maybe you should go to the apothecary then.
Thanks. He turns around and goes, "Oh."
So yeah, you're out in the rainy streets of Waterdeep, and we'll come back to you.
Sweet.
The doors of the Golden Owl open, and Finneus Fiddlescratch enters the space as the four of you finish your meals seated around the fire. Well, I'm quite glad to see that all of you made it here. Well met. Again, my name is Finneus Fiddlescratch. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I've been waiting. You don't disappoint.
Thank you for the food, Mr. Fiddlescratch.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Tamara, she really does take pride in her establishment, and I think we all do. Well, I've introduced myself. Perhaps you could introduce yourselves. And he kind of sits down and tamps a pipe, and this really lush and flowery tobacco smell that's kind of comforting fills the air as he sits there and kind of puffs slowly on a really long pipe, far too long for a halfling this small, but he still manages to do so. He's a middle-aged halfling with the dirty blonde hair that is flopping a little bit into his face. He has really bright eyes and a big smile, and is very pleasant in the way that he beams at all of you. He has well-tailored clothes on and this really bright patchwork cloak at his shoulders. Additionally, he has rings and gems on every finger, and even though it should perhaps feel gaudy or perhaps greedy, it doesn't. It actually has a little bit of a harmony to the way that the colors all work together. And he has a couple of necklaces and clasps and a belt buckle that's very large with a saddlebag that's on his side. And he plops down and sitting there, produces that pipe and starts smoking as he looks expectantly at each of you.
Can I dab my face with the napkin a little bit and take a deep breath in and out and say hello? My name is Doddle. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Doddle, is it? Where do you come from, Doddle?
Hey, which direction is Evermeet? North, south, east, west? Where have I been running for weeks or months?
Yeah, you kind of get your bearings, and you'll be pointing out towards the...
I hail from the west.
You're from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, plenty of people find their way over the ocean and here to Waterdeep. It isn't so strange. And what about you, young man? You seem to be enjoying the food that Tamara's made for you.
Yes, I apologize for I wiped my face. I think it's on. I thought it was a napkin. I realized it's a tablecloth. I'm like, yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your hospitality, sir. My name's Hawke.
Hawke, you say?
Yeah.
Doddle and Hawke. Interesting. And what about you, my studious young friend?
Seem to already know so much about me. I'm sure you already know my name.
I'm trying to introduce myself to you and give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to me. He just kind of puffs on the pipe and smiles at you broadly.
Name's Specialist Maglo Mandorium.
And where are you from, Maglo?
Small town just outside of Neverwinter.
When he says that, Hawke just kind of stops eating, takes a glance, and then just goes back to eating, trying to pretend he didn't do that.
And what of you, my dear? What's your name? Looking to
Can
you,
I
Siraye.
roll an insight on Fiddlescratch?
You absolutely may roll an insight on Fiddlescratch.
What is this? What is this guy up to? What's his deal?
So that is a 21 on your insight.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there is something wholly, almost joyfully playful about the moment. He means no harm. You're sure of that. But you're not sure if the information that he has and the way that he's handling the situation is fully harmless. He knows more than he's letting on. You know that. You have a feeling that he knows who all of you are.
My name is Siraye, but I think you already know that. In fact, I think you already know everyone's name at this table.
Perhaps, my friend. Perhaps. I do my research. No sense in investing in the young that walk through the doors and the gates of Waterdeep without being sure that you're not putting your time and effort where it belongs. You've only been here for a few hours. Hardly even a day. And it looks as if you've already fallen afoul of one of the up-and-coming gangs here in Waterdeep. You're just fresh into the city. That is impressive. I rarely come across strays such as you. You have a fine flair for trouble. I like that. It's as if Bashaba herself laid a kiss upon your sweet brows and bid her sister to stay far away from you.
Who's Bashaba?
Bad luck, my dear. Bad luck. You don't know the local gods, do you?
I'm afraid I don't.
And you're so polite. I can't say that I've met too many goblins that are quite as well-mannered as you. Now, that might be unfair, but truth of the matter is, here in Waterdeep, most of your kind are only found lurking in shadows.
I shall try to get better at lurking in shadows then, I suppose.
Don't you dare hide that flame of yours underneath any sort of shadow, my dear. Let the world see who you are.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm ready to let the world see who I am quite yet, but thank you.
Fair enough. It's only some friendly advice. My friend Maglo, I can't help but notice that you're staring at me so hard that I feel as if I might be knocked straight out of this chair. Do you have something you would like to say?
I'm just asking a lot of questions and I'm waiting for you to answer them.
What would you like to know? I'm an open book.
9 times out of 10, people who say they're open books are hiding the other volumes in a locked chest.
There's that wisdom. You don't disappoint at all. Smartest man in the room, you might say.
You're observant.
Should we start with the grasping eye? Or perhaps your book and why you were targeted? You weren't particularly careful about what you were reading and where you were reading it. Granted, most of the individuals in that section of the Southern Ward don't know how to read at all. But those that do know value when they see it. And you put a fairly large target on yourself fairly quickly as you spent those nights there poring over ancient tomes that spoke of places far away. One of the reasons that Tamara sought to make a place like this, the Golden Owl, a safe place.
Is that why you wanted to bring me here?
No, it's not. Hawke, you stumbled your way up from a very dark place. I feel like I can still smell the Underdark on you. Are you all right?
Anybody that goes down there and comes back up all right?
No. I'm sad to say they're not.
Then you have your answer, my good sir.
Siraye, I know you're only here to hear what I'm going to pay you. It will be adequate. But Doddle, what is it that you want?
I'd like to go home, sir.
And where is home?
To the west.
I do have friends who have ships, and I'm sure that I could help you charter a fine sailing vessel, one that could take you as far west as you wish to go.
Really?
Indeed. I just have one favor to ask all of you. One simple thing, and our arrangement will be set. I will give each of you exactly what you want.
I have one question for you, though. This man wants information. She wishes to go to the destination she seeks. She seeks gold, but I don't want gold. I don't have a home to go to, and there's nothing I really need to learn. So my question is, what can you offer me, sir?
Purpose?
Consider it then. As long as no innocents are harmed.
I don't know who you take me for, lad, but I don't seek to have anyone harmed, though some may be harmed along the way. Sadly, it's the world we live in. It's not what I want. He runs his hand through his hair, and you notice that there's a lot of red in it, and he kind of like tosses it, and just kind of keeps smoking at his pipe and looking at each of you. He glances down at your bag. If you would like, I could help you. If help is really what you want. But I'll need to know what you know already. And to do that, I'll have to read your notes.
No.
It's yours. I do not wish to take it from you. But for me to help you as fully as I can, I have to know what you already know.
Why don't you give me all of your notes? The deal here is I do something for you, and then you give me what I want to know. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the chances of you having information that I don't already have is pretty fucking low. So that seems like a pretty shitty deal for me.
Do you know where it is?
I'm working on very
There's
close.
A tense moment as all of you kind of dance around what you know and what you don't know. Well, as I promised, each of you will get exactly what you want. If that's just the information that I have, I will give you what I can. But you don't have the lifetime for me to give you everything that you might want. I'll have to be selective. And if I can't know where to direct my efforts, Maglo, you're an intelligent man. You know that I won't be able to help you as well as I could. We have resources here. Look around. I didn't bring you back here to just give you a meal. If I wanted to do that, I would have done it in the common room. We've put ourselves in danger. Tamara Wilchrist is astounding. A woman of great respectability. A hero. There aren't many of those any longer. All of us have worked here quietly in the Southern Ward, trying to do our best to make the world just a little brighter. If I've mistaken you, and that is not ultimately what you want, so be it. But each of you are meant to be here right now. And you're not alone.
If I give you my notes, and you find it in the books and in the information that you get from that place, you put my name on it.
I didn't misjudge you. You need not worry. The name Finneus Fiddlescratch is best left out of the history books. I work best on the sidelines, quietly encouraging those who would do great things.
Whenever you take the book, I sit in the same room and I watch you write the notes that you're going to write. We basically are conjoined at the hip as long as you have that book. As soon as you're done with it, I will leave and go to my own private chambers and wait for you to do whatever you're going to do with the information that I've given you.
Agreed. Happily so. Why don't we spend just a few days, each of you resting, as all of you have been on the road for quite some time. You can bring yourselves back into a state of well-being, enjoy some of Tamara's fine cooking, and then we'll talk about the box that I need you to retrieve. It's quite a simple task.
A box?
Just a box. One that's being held by your very own dear friends, the Grasping Eyes. You see, for you to survive in Waterdeep, you're going to need to strike back at those that have struck at you. And if you can get something of great importance to them, then they have no recourse but to leave you be. All I need you to do is to retrieve a simple box.
I think it's my turn for an insight check, please.
You may do it. Anyone who wants to insight may do so.
Yeah, I'm gonna insight that.
And thus, the beginning of Doddle's trust issues begin.
Welcome to Waterdeep.
The fuck you mean you want your name on my island, you bitch?
Well, I don't know. It's your island.
So you're insight checking the room. Is that correct, Doddle?
I'm gonna insight check Finneus Fiddlescratch. I want to know if he's using us to get what he wants, or if he genuinely has interest in helping us out.
So you feel that, because you got a 23, Doddle.
I did.
You feel that he is telling you the truth, that he's not telling you the whole truth. As somebody who's been around court politics, this feels very similar to you. It is a dance, and it is a give and take of trust that hasn't been established yet. And Finneus has been very gracious in the kindness in which he's using what you think is probably a storehouse of political ability, and is not running over all of you and manipulating you in a way that he perhaps could. You feel that he's being beyond honest with you, but you know that not everything is being put onto the table at this moment. There are secrets here, big ones.
My insight check was a 13. Hawke wants to know whether or not there's more to this box than he lets on. Like, his worry is that might be something that could be a cause for harm to people.
With a 13, you actually believe that it must be of importance to this gang. It's obviously not harmless, but it is important. And let's see. Nope, Siraye, you got a 7. You don't really pick anything new up. Anybody else?
No. Maglo is fine.
Juniper, let's start back with you. The knife is removed from your neck, and the woman steps back, holding her hands up. Can you help us?
I'm sorry. You just had a knife to my throat. Am I missing something?
You can heal, and points back to the figure on the ground. She's going to die. She is a companion. We were stealing something.
She looks really uneasy. Okay. I'm not one to leave someone to die, so... Okay, yeah, I'll save your friend, I guess, though you just had a knife to my throat.
You do know that you're in the dock ward of Waterdeep, yes?
I'm obviously not from around here. I don't really know what I'm doing, if I'm honest with you, so...
Well, then it is a good thing that you have found us. We will help you. Now help us.
June goes over and assesses what's gone on here. What exactly happened to this person? Like, what does it look like?
Take roll medicine for me.
Yeah. 18.
18 is good. So this individual has a stab wound in their gut underneath their armor.
Oh.
And there is a needle still sticking out of their neck, and it looks like part of a poison dart trap. And there is a network of thick black veins that are worked across their neck.
Ooh. Do either of you have a cloth at all?
Yes. And you hear a ripping noise as the red robe is torn, and they hand you a tattered piece of their covering.
Yeah, June just wraps it up as thick of a ball as possible and takes it to use to pull the needle out. Don't want to touch that. And then she casts Cure Wounds.
Okay, so you cast Cure Wounds.
5 points of healing.
Yeah, so as you pray, the warm green light of Sylvanas works its way into you and radiates around the wounds, and there is some minor improvement. However, you can see that this individual is poisoned, and the poison seems to be working its way through. Is she going to live?
Give me a second here.
The man stands at the edge of the alleyway and is guarding it, kind of looking out desperately, like as if somebody might be following. And the woman is standing by you, knife still in hand. And you're leaned over this body, and you get the sense that, you're helping them and they want to help you, but if this doesn't work out, you might be back where you started.
Might get got. Yeah. So, we're gonna pray. It's poison?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything for that. I'm not seeing...
Okay, so go ahead and roll religion.
Yeah.
That's good. So you feel the faith of Sylvanas near you, and you know that you could draw the poison out through more mundane means, and that if you are careful, you can bleed this woman enough that the poison doesn't kill her. It will still make her weak. It'll be a while before she heals. It's a technique you've used before, and it's just not guaranteed, and there's a chance that it'll go wrong and it might kill her in the process.
She turns and looks at Miss Knifey Knife and goes, "Hey, I want to do this, but there's a chance that she might not make it. But
if you do nothing, then the chance is complete already, isn't it?
Pretty much so.
Then do it, whatever it takes.
Okay.
And quickly. Someone is coming. We have to be quick."
June's gonna go to the point where the blood is, and can I see your knife?
She reluctantly hands you the knife, and you can see that it is a very artfully made blade with a hooked blade on top of a handle and a tang that is really well balanced when you grab it.
Thank you. And June goes to the largest point of purple in veins and makes a small little incision there.
All right. Do you have any inspiration or any other abilities? Okay, so go ahead and make a medicine roll then. Oh, that is an 18 on your medicine. You will not need another roll. That absolutely succeeds.
Hey.
You drain enough of the poison that while her recovery will be slow because she has lost so much blood at this point, but you've sealed the wound from the knife blade with your prayer. And then you've drawn the poison out at the base of the stab wound from the needle. And so the deep, dark veins kind of release. And they are not nearly as visible as they were. And she's unconscious, but breathing very shallowly.
Okay. Here's a knife, but the thing is, she's probably going to need to rest for quite a bit, but she should be stable now.
We have a place that we will be staying. You can stay there with us and ensure that she makes it. You will care for her, and then we will repay you. And the man turns. The Zentarum always pays its debts.
As do I. I think we gotta go, so if one of you can pick her up and...
They both shoulder either side of the woman, and they rush through the alleys, and you are led through a network of ramshackle walkways and shanties, and it is confusing. It is a labyrinth of dock-ward back alley turns. You could never get back out of here on your own, you don't feel. And June, you quickly come to realize that you've been led into a deep, deep network of underground hovels that are lived in by a number of both homeless and the disreputable. There is an enormous abandoned clock tower, and it is old stone, and it leads up to what looks like a shattered roof with large holes in it. And they quickly look about, and when no one is present, they start slipping through a series of scaffoldings that take you 3 stories up. Do you follow?
Heck yeah.
And then into an open hole of stone that leads into this old bell tower. And there is above you an enormous rusted bell that looks like it's barely hanging in place. And there is scaffolding and other areas built here. There is a fire, and around the fire are a number of individuals, all shadowed. You see the woman turn to you. We will see that she is safe. You will wait here. Do not approach the fire until we have made proper introductions. What I threatened you with is nothing compared to what they would do if they thought that you were not supposed to be here. Do you understand, pretty one?
Oh, yeah, I get that.
My brother and I will return. Wait here. And they slowly slip away. And there seems to be a network of small bunks and things that have been built into the interior of this bell tower. And there are at least 4 or 5 individuals near the fire, and they are all huddled very, very closely to each other. And you hear talking and murmuring, whispering, and you're watching the fire from a distance as it sort of flickers and dances there in your line of sight. And you remember the conversation from the alley and that name, the Zentarum. You've heard it before. As a member of the Emerald Enclave, you are familiar with the Zentarum. They are a group of mercenaries that are led by powerful forces and known to be mercenaries of sort, but they're a standing army that could be hired by anyone, and they are not moral. They will do whatever they're paid to do, and some see them as a force for evil. A individual in a cloak stands and walks towards you. She's massive, a human of rippling size and muscle. Her hair is pulled back in a mohawk, and she has a braid that falls down her back. She has scars crisscrossing her body and tight leather armor that is fitted to just a number of places on her. A furred cloak is wrapped around her waist. What do we have here?
June just kind of stands there in shock.
A little flower to be picked, perhaps.
Oh my, you are a gorgeous specimen.
She has a great axe on her back. Uthra Sol is my tribe name. I serve all who can afford my service. There's another figure that steps up beside her, and it is a thin, pale-skinned rogue in a cloak. Now thou, Uthra, there's no need for that. No need to be rude yet. Answer the question. What are you doing here, stranger?
Well, actually, I was brought by, I think, their siblings.
Mert, do you hear this? The twins brought us a plaything.
Actually, one of your pals was down, and they asked me to heal.
A large man with tattoos all over his body and a gold tooth kind of smirks at you. He's a little older, but he has like all the markings of a really hardened pit fighter. Somebody who has just, been in the middle of more fights than you could possibly imagine. And God. Steps forward. Is that so? You're friends with the twins?
No. Just someone was down. I decided to help them because I have some weird moral compass, I guess.
Well met. Mert Handlebrake, at your service. And he reaches a big, muscular hand out towards you to shake.
Can I roll an insight?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Oh, shit.
Do you shake his hand? You don't have to if you don't trust him, but it's up to you. You just don't have the benefit of knowing whether or not he's going to do something.
Not to be rude, I did just pull poison out of someone, so my hands aren't exactly the cleanest.
All right, I understand. And he brushes the side of his head as he starts to turn and then spins back with a punch. We're going to cut away from you. Calder, you're sitting on a rooftop outside of a building with the address that's been scrawled on this piece of paper, and you've been watching for hours. And the rain has been coming down, and you have a small amount of food that you brought with you, some really stale bread, other things that you kind of salvaged from the tavern. And you've got good, pretty conclusive notes about everything that you've seen. There seems to be 6 or 7 individuals in a rotation that are watching over this warehouse almost every hour of the day and into the night. There are shipments that come in of wagons with large cages and other crates that keep pulling through. And you see individuals that look like common thugs and thieves. I mean, street ruffians. You don't see any distinguishing marks, but at one point, there is an individual that didn't enter the building that ends up exiting the building, who is wearing a deep royal purple cloak. You don't see face, you don't see any features, you don't see hands. They seem to be very careful. They enter onto a very nice wagon, and the wagon takes them away. Make a roll for me, please, Calder, for history.
It's not a history. God, that's
It's
a
okay.
1.
It's a natural 1. Would you roll that again, Calder?
Yeah.
Just to see if you get another natural 1.
Oh, okay, maybe.
You know the rules. It's just for funsies.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, should I just start using luck at this point, just so I can get somewhere?
You can. If you wish to use luck, you certainly can. It replenishes itself per story, so
yeah,
you're very lucky.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so still roll to see if you get another one, even though because you aren't going to fail. You aren't going to fail the roll. That's a 2.
Cool.
So if you keep rolling like this, we'll get a 3 next time. Yeah, you can now re-roll it. So you're going to use your luck. So re-roll to see what you actually get in your history roll. 18. There you go.
Oh, sweet beans.
Good job.
I have literally stuck little sticky notes to my computer screen for how much luck I have, so that it is in front of my eyeballs.
That's a
and I
good
don't
system.
forget anymore.
I might adopt that, actually.
Yeah, I do that with everything Busby can do, because I never use Busby ever.
Yeah.
And Busby can do a bunch of stuff, so I have it all
The
around
way
my
I've been rolling, I need to remember that I have to help.
So your history roll tells you, Calder, that this type of wagon isn't from Waterdeep. It is from somewhere else. It's been brought in. It's been imported into the city. And you can tell that from the fine swirls of the way that the wood has been built and some of the way that the wheels are inset. This is from the Moonshae Isles, which is very far away and also very different than Waterdeep. It's strange that you would see that kind of craftsmanship here. It's not unheard of. So what it tells you is that either someone is very, very wealthy and has very specific tastes, or someone from the Moonshae Isles has brought with them their own transportation, which would be just about as strange.
Cal's gonna make a note of that.
And the whole time in your hand, you're doing this. You're moving this ring about. So tell me what you're thinking.
Once he's got some notes, I think he's gonna go and back to where he last met with Filthy Meg.
Okay, so you make your way to the docks and you follow your way down through the network of passageways and under dock walkways that lead you all the way back to the area with the wishing well and where all the coppers have been spread out into the stones that go into the harbor of Waterdeep. What do you do?
So once he gets back to that place where, like, there was that well, right, in the water, he's gonna toss a coin.
You throw a copper out and it splashes into the water and everything's silent for a moment. And then rising up out of the water, you see a hand holding your copper piece and it is heavily tattooed. And you see all the bangles and the bits of armor as Filthy Meg kind of rises up out of the water, and on her back you see a trident that has been strapped to it as she swims through the kind of stormy water and pulls herself ashore next to you. And her beautiful green and blue iridescent scales glint in the very low cloudy light of the air around you. And she kind of smiles broadly. All of her piercings kind of move at once, and this network of tattoos that work their way across the body all kind of move at once as she smiles very broadly. Hello again.
Hello, ma'am. I think I got something for you.
Did you succeed? Did you do what no one thought old little Calder could do?
No one.
I believed in you just fine.
That's relieving. I had no idea what to expect. And he pulls out the ring, and he doesn't give it to her yet. And he says, "A mage from the Watchful Order offered me an apprenticeship, and I took this when we shook hands on it."
That was clever. That's a good boy. Well done. Really am impressed, I've got to say. I believed in you the entire time.
He kind of squints at her, but doesn't argue that. I can give this to you now, or I can take it with me, drop it in the tavern, pretend I've never seen it before, and take the apprenticeship and tell you everything that I learned from him.
Now that is interesting, isn't it? You're thinking bigger than you were when you first came here to me. That's impressive.
I washed some really nasty dishes since then, so...
It's a tough thing to decide, as I would believe, even if you were able to get that ring back in without him noticing, assuming that he doesn't already know. I think, Calder, what you're failing to realize here is that these are mages. Wizards who have the ability to divine upon a great matter of things. Sad enough to say, they're going to probably know that you took the ring either way.
Do they track these things? I assume that they might.
As I said before when I sent you out, my friend, it wasn't very safe, that it was going to have a certain price attached to it. I can tell you where your ship is, and I could take that ring now. If I were to send you back now, I couldn't help but believe it would be to your death. And I couldn't sleep at night with that thought on my heart. You're far too entertaining to be dead yet.
Well, that's fair enough. But I also expect to have to get myself out of a couple of scrapes anyway. Because if they know that I've taken it, it's, he points at his scars, it's kind of hard for me to hide.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I said I would, which is I'm going to tell you everything that I know about the Siren's Call. Now then, that being said, once this ring changes hands, the Watchful Order are going to be very upset, and they're going to be quite busy dealing with all the problems that we're going to give them. Now, if you want to be a part of that, I can certainly keep you employed. I don't know if perhaps you found a new calling when it comes to scrubbing pots in some far remote tavern, but that to say, if you want to keep working, I'm sure I could find a task or two that needs doing. Choice is yours, though. If you wish to try, it would be of great importance and reward to you. I just don't think that you would survive. I think that the mages are going to know that the ring is gone, if they don't already. It wouldn't be the sort of thing that I think that they wouldn't notice fairly quickly.
Well, the point of this is definitely not for me to spend more time with the mages. So, however this worked out, yeah, there's more information that I want than just where that ship is. So, I'd rather be working for you.
Glad to hear it. Would you like to have a drink on it?
What kind of drink?
She pulls out a bottle from one of her bags, and it is it's sealed with wax, and she cracks it open, and you immediately smell this really strong, full-bodied whiskey.
Oh, hell yeah.
She pulls out a couple of these cups that are carved out of large conch shells, and she pours you guys a couple of shots. And you sit there on the dock shooting whiskey, and as you do, she holds out her hand.
He drops the ring into it.
And she takes it. And she smiles and toasts you, throws back a shot of whiskey.
I'll wait just a second for her to take the shot first, and then...
I like the cut of your jib.
Thank you, it's the paranoia.
Now, if I wanted you dead, that would have been the right place to do it.
I guess I'm gonna go attempt to hide from a bunch of mages.
We have some friends. We'll make sure that you make it out for at least a few days. After that, we'll have to see what happens. But like I said, once this ring gets to where it needs to go, they're going to be quite busy. And they're going to be very upset at whoever lost it.
Fair enough.
Elerie, the guard is standing in front of you. His drooping mustache is glowering, and his eyes are locked firmly upon you. Who are you, and what are you doing? Answer me.
Do I recognize them at all? Like,
No.
have I seen them? Okay, no. All right. As I said, I am going to my job to move some boxes, and I'm a little lost.
And your name is Elerie Seaborn.
Yes.
Wait here. And the captain turns and walks away as the other two guards flank you on either side. Do you make a run for it or anything, or do you stay put?
I'm trying to decide if Illyri's gonna get out of this by maybe the rumors have done her any good around here. So yeah, she's gonna stand there pretty confidently, arms crossed, big huff in her chest, standing there. I'm supposed to be here.
A few minutes later, the captain walks back up, looks you up and down. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Move on.
Aye, Captain. And have her, leave and go somewhere else. If that was the last place that I saw it, then these guys doing whatever they're doing, I don't want any part of it. But I think at this point, Elerie does not want to go back to her job, and this Tittlebomb situation is not going to do her any good. So I think that she would just wait out the rest of the day and wait to kind of rough up Tittlebomb later in the night.
Okay, so you kind of stalk through the streets and you wander about, and then night comes, and sure enough, down the street, walking very briskly, you see your former friend, the gnome, Tittlebomb Moosenik, as he walks quickly through the rain, his coat pulled up around his face, trying to move quickly through the streets. He seems paranoid and somewhat frightened.
I'm going to follow him.
Okay, make an insight check, please.
Absolutely.
That's a 10.
That is a 10, yep.
Yep. Something's wrong. You don't know what it is, but you know something's wrong. Do you continue following him?
In the most discreet way I possibly can.
Okay, make a stealth check, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So you follow behind. Teetlebomb quickly turns down an alley because you think he might sense that he's being followed and is trying to slip you.
I know where Teetlebomb lives. Or do I know, is he like following that path? Like, can I cut him off or something?
You could try to cut him off. So are you going to run over like to the other side where you think this alley it terminates out of?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you run through the streets. Just make an athletics check. As you kind of dart through the streets, you're jumping over carts and trying to get over to where he's at. And you do so very nimbly. And you cut him off. And as he's running out of the alley, because he's running now, because he knew something was up, he bumps into you and hits the ground. And kind of like starts backpedaling into the alleyway.
What's got you all messed up now, Tittlebomb?
I don't. Listen to me, Elerie. He holds his hands up, and you see that he's missing 2 fingers on his right hand, and it's been bandaged. I've done everything that I can, and I'm sorry. They just won't let it go. I had to.
Can I like pick him up by his jacket?
Yeah, you go. Look, I never wanted you to get hurt, but I can't lie. They're going to know.
Who?
The grasping eye.
Ah, Tittlebomb! And I'm just gonna toss him.
You throw him down to the ground, and he's like blubbering. I'm sorry. You should probably leave Waterdeep immediately.
Yeah, you're right. I want to look around. Is there anybody else on the street?
No.
Tittlebomb, was somebody following you just now?
He looks back now like he's not sure. No.
All right, well, might as well get out of here then.
He's kind of shocked that you're not going to kill him, and he kind of like stands up and looks back at you. Just don't go back to your rooms. And he starts running down the alley.
Can I throw my axe at his head now?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I do that?
Wreck him.
I knew he had something else to say, so I wanted to at least give him that. And then, but now I'm gonna wreck him. So how do I murder this person in the street?
Well, all you have to do is hit him. He's running away from you. He doesn't see it coming. I'm gonna give you an advantage on the attack because his back is turned. So 16 does hit him. You don't hit him in the head, though. You hit him in the back, and he takes 3 points of damage as your axe buries into his shoulder, and he topples forward into a pile of garbage, and then spins around. I'm sorry! I didn't mean for you to get hurt! And is like trying to back away and run. I'll make an athletics check. He is back up and standing, trying to run away from you, but he's bleeding pretty badly.
Is it still raining?
It's true. It's pouring rain right now.
Good. I just want to stalk up closer to him, really pissed off that I have to do this merely because he ran his mouth. If I got a really good layup on him, I just want to just...
He's wounded and he's on the back foot, so you get an advantage.
All right, so if he's backing up, then I'm aggressing hard on him, axe in hand.
Yeah, you definitely hit there. Okay, so yeah, your axe flies up and you cut across him and he falls down, but he is not dying easily, as now he has this slash across his chest and he's blubbering incoherently as he's holding his mangled hand in front of you.
I'm gonna take the axe out of him and just come back down.
So you're in this alley now, and it is a horror show as your axe is working into him. Give me one more hit, and it's probably going to be enough to do him in.
Well, I hope, for his sake, I hope so.
Did you roll?
I did.
Oh, you got the 21 and the 19. It doesn't matter. The 21 is more than enough. And you've done plenty of damage. He stops moving, and he is dead. Teetlebomb Moostic lies in front of you in a broken pile. Blood is washing away in the rain as you're standing there alone in the dark alley, and there's a flickering light behind you as the shadows in this place conceal your murder.
Happy Halloween, everybody!
Oh,
Kids at home, don't forget, snitches get stitches.
Casa Maria!
May I check his pockets?
You may.
I just want to go for the pockets that would have been like in the front like where his hands would have been sitting, and then the back if he's got like a loose pocket somewhere.
You get a notebook that has scratched writings and a quill and a little pouch with inks and things and little things in it. You get a very large dagger. You get a coin purse that is strangely very full right now. It has effectively 8 gold pieces inside of it.
I will toss the book over my shoulder, grab 3 gold pieces, and spill the rest on the ground, and then I'm gonna head off.
Okay. And you walk out. Let me make a quick roll. It doesn't seem like anyone has noticed as you walk into the streets of Waterdeep into the night, as the fog kind of rolls in from the shore, and there's a splattering of blood across your coat, and it's washing away in the rain as you walk alone, Elerie.
And that's why we like the rain. It hides your murders.
Nice.
That was so sick.
That was the most metal thing I have ever
So good.
seen in my life.
Kaza, I hope I never piss you off.
I'm just sorry that I killed everyone's favorite character, you know?
No,
And-
no. It's no. What you did is like Highlander rules. There can be only one. So you replace the favorite character thing by brutal murder.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm sweating, guys.
You killed a favorite to become the favorite.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Back at the Golden Owl, all of you are seated in front of Finneus Fiddlescratch, and his pipe is filling the air with this blue-gray smoke that's dancing about the room, and the fire is burning, and all of you are sitting there, and he seems to be expectant, watching the door. He keeps kind of turning back, and the whole affair has become very quiet. What do the 4 of you do?
This seems like a lovely city. Very safe.
It is lovely. As to safe, well, it can be. As long as you know how to treat the city right. I know your type well. If you're willing to make the trip, I can ensure that you have a guide. Someone to take you through, to make sure that you're on the right track. Do you agree? You'll go for the box?
Sure. I'm in.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Why don't you find your rooms? Tamara's going to take care of you. Each of you will have accommodations of your own, and you can make yourselves comfortable. You can sleep for a while, and in a couple of days, my guide will find you. Her name is Bretta Brightclean, and she's a dear friend. Someone that you're going to be happy to get to know. And that's where we're going to end it today.
Sweet Jesus.
Some of my favorite scenes in like the whole of our campaign, like
Yeah.
3 of them happened in
Holy
this
crap.
session.
I love it. Yeah.
Woof.
That was intense.
I'm
Yeah,
sweating.
thank you,
Nice.
Nod.
Very good job today.
Fucking
Nod.
endurance,
Very good
mate.
job.
That's
Oh my
insane.
god.
That is some
Holy
marathon level.
smokes.
Now this is pod racing.
My heart's still beating so fast.